Выключил микрофон, то академик Александр Некипелов. The head of Moscow School Economics, the Lomonosov Moscow State University.
Thank you so much, Elena Borisovna, dear friends. It's my pleasure, great pleasure, to see all of you at this conference. You know, the very fact of this conference, you know, it's something very important, and in a sense, I was quite struck by seeing the program of this conference and so many colleagues from Central and East Europe and Southeast Europe. Some of you I know for very many years, and so it's a great pleasure to see all of you here. And some of you are those of whom I've heard but never had a privilege to have a direct contact with you. In any case, I see this conference as something outstanding for something very specific, and I believe that we haven't had, as far as I know at least, conference dedicated to this part of the globe in a couple of decades, recent decades. So I believe that this is a very good job done by the Institute of Economics of organizing such a conference, and I'm quite sure that Svetlana Glinkina was a person who made this conference possible. Of course, you know, it was a very great loss for all of us who have known Svetlana for many years when she passed away a year ago. You know, I used to work with Svetlana at Oleg Bogomov's Institute from the 70s. So first part of our scientific life was dedicated to the search of opportunities of improving our cooperation of our countries and integration, socialist integration, which was taking place within Council of Mutual Economic Assistance of our countries. Svetlana came a little bit later than myself to the Institute, a year or 2 years later. And I remember her as my colleague from the very beginning of her work at our Institute. She joined a sector, Hungarian sector, and you know, she used to work with Marina Usievich there as the head of the sector. Marina Usievich was, and you know, at our institute, it was so that people working at the sectors of this or that country from the then existing socialist world, they loved the object of their research. They loved their respective countries, and Svetlana was no exception from this rule. She really enjoyed what was going on in Hungary. She was she was examining the experience of this country in different areas, of course, first of all in economic sphere, but not only, cultural sphere also included. And for me, there is no surprise that Svetlana had and still has so many friends from this country, as well as from other countries from that part of the world. From the beginning of perestroika, of course, in our country, and transition period in other countries, of course, many things were changing, and new problems came to the fore of our examination, our discussions, and the emphasis was placed upon the transition period. And our institute, the Institute for World Economic Socialist System, also was undergoing changes, as you know, probably. At first, we changed the title of the institute, and later on, we within the Academy of Sciences have carried out the inclusion of the institute in the Institute of Economics of the Russian Academy of Science. But in any case, people from Bogomolov Institute, they also played and continue playing a very important role within this big Institute for Economics and
expectations on return from investment.
And it's my pleasure to see that the leadership of this institute, you know, is for the last decade. It consists of those who worked with the Institute for World Bogomolov's Institute. Svetlana Glинкина also, she was changing the areas of her scientific interest in the period of transition. He paid much attention to the transition problems of the Russian Federation. He became a very well-known expert in our country in the field of property rights, changing property rights, privatization, in the field of criminalization of the economy, and several other problems. Also, he paid, during the last years, she was paying a lot of attention to the development of the Popular Republic of China. And myself, I used to work with the Moscow State University, the Moscow School of Economics, and I invited her from the very beginning to be a part of this school, and she accepted this offer with enthusiasm, and she was a chair of economic theory at this department of Moscow State University, and we really were great friends, and also you know, we had a lot in common in our professional views as well. And so it's really a big loss for all of us. But of course, I'm very thankful to all of you who accepted this invitation by the Institute of Economics to take part in this conference, and I wish you a success to this conference, and to all of you I wish all the best. Be safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alexander Mitch, for such warm words about Svetlana and our institute.